Good evening. I'm hereby calling to order the September 23rd Committee of the Whole meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Balestria.
Present.
Mr. Mano.
Present.
Mr. Minor.
Present.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Here.
Mrs. Snyder.
Here.
Ms. Tobin.
Here.
I just need to change the Committee of the Whole to a special meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The purpose of the meeting is to adjourn into executive session to discuss pending and imminent litigation, as well as an appointment of a public official. Is there a motion to enter into executive session? Moved by Mr. Minor, second by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to enter into executive session.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestria.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Ms. Tobin.
Yes.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. It is now 6:07. We will now begin the executive session.
by others and give you the information necessary to report to law enforcement or the Auditor's Special Investigations Unit. As public servants, we are expected to do our jobs with the utmost honesty as we serve Ohio's taxpayers. I thank you for your service to Ohioans, and if you have any questions after the training, please feel free to contact us at the Auditor's Office at either ohioauditor.gov or 1-866-FRAUD-OH. Thank you.
Welcome to the Ohio Auditor of State's training video on reporting fraud, waste, and abuse in government. As public employees, it's our responsibility to ensure that taxpayer dollars are used efficiently, effectively, and transparently. That requires a rigid adherence to the ethical behavior that taxpayers across Ohio have come to expect from us. The overwhelming majority of public employees come to work and do their jobs with the highest level of professionalism and pride. But on occasion, there are bad actors who take advantage of their access to public funds and resources. These types of behaviors are rare, but when they do occur, no matter how big or small, it severely erodes the public's trust in our work. Before we begin, here's a bit of background. The brief training you're about to receive is just one layer of a robust fraud reporting training that is required by law of all state and local government employees. Each public employee is required to receive this training during their initial onboarding and every 4 years thereafter. By learning the signs of fraud, knowing your responsibilities when fraudulent behavior in government occurs, and knowing how to report fraud to the appropriate authorities, you can play a key role in preventing loss of taxpayer resources. And as a public employee with an inside perspective to the day-to-day doings of government, you are the first line of defense in stamping out fraud, waste, and abuse. Let's begin by defining our 3 main categories: fraud, waste, and abuse, and then look at examples of each in the context of state and local government. First, fraud. Fraud in government refers to intentional deception or misrepresentation for personal gain or to deceive the public. This could include embezzlement, bribery, or falsifying documents, such as timesheets or financial statements. Let's look at an example. In 2019, an employee of Smith Village created fake invoices for services that were never provided. They arranged for a family member to receive the contract to provide those services. When the invoices were paid, the employee and their accomplice pocketed the money. This scheme lasted for 3 years before being discovered, resulting in losses totaling $30,000. Now let's look at waste. Waste in government occurs when resources are used carelessly or extravagantly without adequate oversight, resulting in unnecessary costs to taxpayers. This might include overpaying for goods or services, unnecessary spending on projects, or even an intentionally inefficient process for a routine task. Let's look at an example. The Office of Finance is looking to purchase new technology for its team. The department decided to purchase desktop PCs for all administrative employees, all of whom had already been issued laptops. As a result of this oversight, many employees decided they don't need the new machines, and the PCs end up in storage, unused and wasting taxpayer funds. If the Office of Finance had issued the machines only to employees who needed them, they could have saved money. And lastly, abuse. Abuse excludes fraud and non-compliance and involves actions that a prudent person would determine to be unreasonable based on the circumstances, such as requesting reimbursement for an expensive meal or asking an assistant to pick up dry cleaning during working hours. Let's look at an example. The Director of Communications frequently has his clothes dry cleaned. It's common practice that he sends his admin out once a week to the dry cleaners 20 minutes from the office. Not only should the director be responsible for his own laundry, but it is also obviously inappropriate to have the admin run errands on state time. It's important to know that the examples provided are not comprehensive or exhaustive definitions of fraud, waste, or abuse. But if something doesn't look right, it's probably worth looking into. It's crucial for us to remain vigilant and report any suspicions of fraud, waste, or abuse. Suspect fraud? Speak up. We'll do the rest. Let's take a moment to discuss how you can report suspected bad behavior to the Ohio Auditor's Special Investigation Unit. Ohio law requires that any known instance of fraud, waste, or abuse be reported to the Ohio Auditor of State. There are several options you can use to make a report. You can report online through the auditor's website. Make a call to our Special Investigations Unit and speak to our intake specialists. This may require you to leave a message outside of business hours, but our staff will contact you. Send an email to our Special Investigations Unit that details the information you want to report. Make a report through mail, sending our Special Investigations Unit a narrative and any substantiating documentation you may have. All public organizations have a working relationship with staff at the Ohio Auditor's Office. If you suspect fraud, waste, or abuse, you could make a report to a member of our audit team. In this case, they could assist you in providing the necessary information to our Special Investigations Unit. Anyone who makes a report to the Auditor of State's Special Investigation Unit should expect one of our intake specialists or investigators to reach out to them. The more information that you can provide, the greater we're able to thoroughly investigate your claim. Remember, making the report is the first step in stamping out unethical and illegal behavior in government. It's important to note that public employees are protected against disciplinary action or retaliation from their employer for making a reasonable and good faith report of suspected fraud, theft in office, or misuse or misappropriation of public money. That means your good faith report of suspected fraud should not impact your role or status as a government employee. Thank you for taking the time to watch this important training video. By working together to detect and prevent fraud, waste, and abuse, we can ensure that taxpayer dollars are used responsibly, effectively, and transparently. Remember, it's up to all of us to uphold the integrity of state and local government in Ohio.
Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the September 23rd council meeting of the City of Mayfield Heights. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Balestria.
Present.
Mr. Mano.
Here.
Mr. Minor.
Here.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Here.
Mrs. Snyder.
Here.
Ms. Tobin.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is the approval of the minutes from the September 3rd, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting. I hope everyone's had time to read these minutes over. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Balestria and second
Second.
by Mrs. Sabetta. Are there any changes, amendments, or deletions to these minutes? Ms. Talbot.
There's one. I had pointed out that we still did not get the sketches from the Mayline properties, and that was not reflected in here. So I wanted to make sure it is reflected that we are still waiting on those sketches.
Okay. Well,
As-built plan, right? The as-built plan.
The as-built.
Not sketches, they're as-built. The as-built.
I can't.
come up to, so she can hear.
The what?
As-built.
Okay.
The plans from
He said,
mainland.
he told me they were sketches.
Shows how they've been built actually.
Yeah, we require them to submit as-built plans, which is as-built is what it is. I mean, where exactly the sewers are, where the depths of the sewer are and everything like that. We have not received that yet. We did request it. I talked to their engineer. He said he was preparing it, but it has to be stamped by an engineer as well. So they're not sketches, they're as-built plans.
Okay, well, that's what I thought I remembered. I knew it was with the utilities of some sort.
Thank you. Are there any other changes? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These minutes have been approved. Next, we will move to the approval of the minutes from the City Council meeting of September 9th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Mr. Mano.
Second.
And second by Mr. Minor. Are there any changes, amendments, or deletions to those minutes? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? These minutes have now also been approved. Does any member of council have any correspondence or announcements? Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. The Chagrin River Watershed Partners met on September 17th at Lakeland Community College, and the update of the meeting presentation were many good things concerning their group coming together with their partners, which our city is one. First off, Linda Moran, 25 years of service. She was honored and is retiring. They also are asking for master plan updates. If you are planning any process of updating your community's master plan, they're interested in helping. They have water level sensors. If you want to learn more about hi-fi water level sensors for streams, basins, culverts, etc., please contact them. The public rain garden, it's still a suggestion for site visits to homes and install a free public rain garden through the Northeast Ohio Master Rain Garden Program. And project development. If you want to explore funding options for stream, wetland restoration, storm water retrofit, or other projects, please contact them. They also are asking for topics for future meetings. I did discuss coming to the Aquatic Center for their next meeting, and also for putting together a few people that they work with on types of nature growing that was discussed from a resident in our last meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sabetta. Are they going to let us know?
Yes.
If they're perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have anything up? No? Okay. We will now move to reports of officers, starting with the mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a couple things this evening. I know everyone has noticed the abundance of road construction going on in the city, so I appreciate all the residents and business owners' patience as they try to navigate through the city. It can be challenging sometimes to find some alternate routes, but I think things are going smooth and should be finished up hopefully very soon. And I just wanted to remind our residents, head to the city website to sign up for text alerts for updates on anything from power outages and water main breaks, weather warnings, and trash delays. You can find all that information on our website, and you can sign up for text alerts so you're aware of all the latest happenings in the city. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any questions for the mayor? I did have one quick question. I think Ms. Talbot asked about the median and putting stuff out there. Were there ARPA funds left to do that? Were you going to check? Either one.
So I think, well, we know what ARPA funds are left. We're debating what to use them on. I don't think we're going to use them, it's not going to be this year for sure on that median.
Okay.
But there's a couple other things that maybe, one of them's on the agenda tonight to possibly use for the ARPA funds, the pumps.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I know we had to use them by the end of this year, correct?
So they have to be encumbered by the end of this year, but they don't have to be paid.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Law Director, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no report tonight, but I would request an executive session at the end of the public business tonight to discuss pending or imminent litigation and appointment of a public official. Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Finance, Mrs. Scully.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no report tonight.
Next, we'll move to any department director that might be here this evening to give a report.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to update you on the Marnell sewer projects. First of all, the detailed dye testing that was approved last council meeting. The letters were approved by the law director this morning. They will be delivered to those residents that are going to get a follow-up dye test tomorrow by the service department, and then it'll be scheduled after that. We have also had, since the meetings, about 20 more residents that want to be dye tested that are not in the flooded area. They're kind of on the outskirts in different cities. And I guess I'm waiting on direction on that, if we should do that or not. We could add it to the dye testing projects, but that's up to council if you want to do that. As far as the Marnell project goes, we did get the flow meters in last week, which was good. Now that the drought's over, we can get some data. So they put in the flow meters. There's 6 of them in different locations, so we can pinpoint exactly where where some of these side streets come into Marnell, on Marnell itself, where it outlets. We're going to get exact data of where the flow is coming from and where it's going to. They put a rain gauge on top of the Lander Road School. The sewer district has rain gauges all around the county. We want one right next to where we're at. So on that school, up on the roof, we got permission from the school to do that. And so we'll have a rain, we'll know exactly how much rain we're getting in these storm events. And then we can, apply that to the flow meters and the flow that we're seeing there. We did start the survey. Geotechnical investigations are scheduled for this week. Surveyors started last week. They were out there again this morning or today. My water team is coming out, I think, on Thursday. In fact, I know it's Thursday this week. We're going to open up down by Radnor there and Temple and Longwood. It's a spaghetti bowl of sewers and manholes. We're going to open up everything and make sure we verify the connectivity of everything and what's abandoned and what's still alive as far as live sewers go. So that's a progress in the last 2 weeks.
Thank you so much. I just have really one quick question about the letter. On the letter, is there an area for residents that you will disperse these letters to opt out of the program if they decided now they don't want to be tested?
It's very specific in there. It says we are coming unless you call us and tell us that you don't want us on your property. Very specific, yeah. And then the law director suggested some language in there about how we worded that. I can get you a copy of the letter. I can get all the council a copy.
It would just be good to have them, if they truly do opt out, then they can't come
Oh,
back
I think
and
you're going to
say-
have some, yes, that probably will opt out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
And
much
then
for the
however you
update.
want to do it with the other, about 20, I think, Chuck, that we have, additional requests. It's about $1,500 a house. It's just under that, it's like 14 something. So that would be the budget if you want to do those.
Should we wait to see how many people opt out of not doing it? Or just add them? We'll just add them? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
We'll wait for direction. I have a second letter prepared that goes out to those people because it's a different letter because they haven't been dye tested before. So this will be the first time.
So it'll be a different letter to them?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. Are there any other department heads that would like to be heard this evening? Nobody? Okay, all right, thank you. Next, we will move to reports of committees, commissions, and boards, beginning with the Building Committee. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have no report.
Finance and Audit Committee, Mr. Minor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no report.
Thank you. Legislative Committee, Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. No report, but I do have a couple of legislative messages that I may be putting together for a meeting. So if anyone in other departments would like to bring something, I'd be glad to bring a meeting forth.
Thank you. Public Works and Service Committee, Mr. Belstrea.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Public Works and Service Committee did not meet, and, since we approved the resolutions to start the work at the last committee meeting, I thank Joe for giving us an update, and he will continue to give the council the updates on all the work that's being performed.
Okay, thank you. Recreation and Parks, Mr. Mano.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Pig Roast and Beer Fest event planned for September 28th has been canceled due to a lack of ticket sales. We will go back to the drawing board to plan an event for younger to middle-aged adults for next fall. The following programs are coming up in the near future. Our annual Halloween party will take place on Friday, October 18th at 6 o'clock at the community center. The event will include dinner, games, photo op, trick-or-treat street, candy, and pumpkin patch. Tickets are now on sale, $9 for kids and $6 for adults. Girls Volleyball League. We will be holding Girls Volleyball League for girls and 5th and 8th grade, for 5th through 8th grade this fall at the community center. The league will begin after the middle school season is complete, running from October 20th through December 15th. There will be one practice each week, and games will be on Sunday afternoons. The cost is $180 and includes training from knowledgeable volleyball trainers in the area. Murder Mystery Dinner, Tuesday, October 29th, excuse me, from 3 to 6 p.m. at at the Aquatic Center. Tickets are $20 and include a lasagna dinner. The deadline to purchase tickets is October 23rd. For more information on these and other programs, call us at 440-442-2627. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mano. Are there any questions for Mr. Mano? Safety and Transportation, Ms. Talbin.
No report.
All right. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. The Board of Zoning Appeals did not meet due to no agenda, so no report. Thank you.
Ms. Planning Commission, Mr. Palestreo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a report. The Planning Commission did meet last Monday, the 16th. Council was copied on the minutes, and we have one motion on the agenda to address this evening as a result of that meeting.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Palestreo? Okay. We will now proceed to the public portion. Pursuant to City Code, we will allow the speaker 5 minutes to speak with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for the entire public portion. If you are here in connection with an agenda item, this is your opportunity to address council. However, please note that this is not an opportunity for debate or slighted comments. If you would like to be heard this evening, please fill out a form located at the public entrance. I will call each person wishing to speak to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record and speak clearly into the microphone. It is now 7:20, and I will open up the public portion. Beginning with Chad Lichten.
Hello, I'm Chad Lichten. I live at 6295 Fairhaven Road. Today's speech is about Robert DeJohn and the open seat on council. Now that Robert DeJohn's seat is up and you're looking for someone to fill it, please consider Chad Lichten. Chad is the only person to be endorsed by 1,185 resident voters of Mayfield Heights during last year's general election. Not too far off from the amount of votes that King Minor had. I am interested in being appointed to the position since I did run for office. Even though I did not get as many votes as the other three, I still received many. Hence, the will of the people would be recognized by my attaining the seat on council. City council exists as a check and balance system to the mayor and law director. I know we may sometimes have a difference of opinion, but that's what makes a good city council, having various opinions. You can appoint me to council, or you can use this opportunity to appoint someone in your personal circle of your choosing, your buddies, people who probably were not endorsed by over 1,000 residents, perhaps didn't grow up here in Mayfield Heights, and most likely do not match the heart I have for my fellow men and women. Now that DeJohn is gone, it seems there is no one left on this council who seems to question the mayor's decisions. That said buddy that you are thinking of appointing will simply vote the same way you do on everything. There is no way for that buddy to be a true representative of the people because that buddy has not been voted on by the people. The mayor already gets to appoint his own law director, a policy that DeJohn rightly wanted changed. It seems like all the votes from council are unanimous. When DeJohn was here, he was always an island by himself on a lot of issues. Now, there probably won't be much disagreement as most of the council, or all of them, seems to go along with what the mayor says. Where are the checks and balances? Gail has exhausted her term limits and should not be allowed back. Even though I did not win the election, I still had 1,185 people who voted for me. Had DeJohn resigned prior to the election day, I would have been elected, as there would have been 4 empty seats for 4 names. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lichten. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard this evening? Okay. It is 7:25, and I will close the public portion. We will move to resolutions, beginning with resolution number 2024-44. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2024-44, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendment to the agreement with Gloss, Pyle, Schomer, Burns, and DeHaven, Inc., DPA GPD Group, to provide professional engineering services to deal with the flooding event on August 17, 2024, and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
We are going to leave this on second reading. Resolution number 2024-51, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2024-51, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Collins Equipment Corporation for the purchase of a fuel island terminal and 2 dispensers for use by the city of Mayfield Heights and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sabetta and second by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. Minor,
Yes.
Ms. Tobin,
Yes.
Mr. Balestria,
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Balestria
Second.
and
Second.
second by Mr. Minor. All members of council should have received an email from Mr. Brunello. The new fueling system was approved as part of the capital budget for 2024. The current system is over 30 years old and is in constant need of repair and is very unreliable. The replacement parts are difficult to find due to the current age. The new fuel island would be installed by Collins Equipment Corporation for $54,680. Is there any questions or comments from council? Ms. Talbin?
I just have a couple questions.
Mr. Brunello?
It says that it's unreliable. I just wanted to clarify what you mean by unreliable and how much approximately have we spent in maintenance? How long has this been going on that it's been failing us or been unreliable?
As far as how much money we spent, offhand, I do not know. The unreliability part of the pumps is sometimes the fuel keys don't work, sometimes the pumps themselves don't work, and that's the two biggest
Oh.
parts of the equation. So if you don't have one, you don't have the other, and vice versa, so.
Okay, thanks.
Well, any further questions for Mr. Brunello? Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Roll call on the motion to approve.
Ms. Tobin,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mr. Minor,
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestria.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes, this resolution has been approved. Resolution 2024-52, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2024-52, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Premise Solutions for preventive maintenance on the city's security hardware and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sabetta
Second.
and second by Mr. Balestria. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. Balestria.
Yes.
Ms. Tobin,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta,
Yes.
Mr. Minor,
Yes.
Mr. Mano,
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes, is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Mano,
Second.
second by Mrs. Sabetta. All members received a quote in what is included for the preventative maintenance. This contract would be for 3 years from the contract execution. Preventative maintenance services are required for security hardware, including cameras and door readers. The total cost would not exceed $50,000, which would be roughly $16,000 per year. It's a 3-year contract. Any questions or comments from council? Mr. Minor?
Does this contract allow for discounts if they identify areas of the system that need to be replaced? Do they also can we purchase equipment from them at a discounted rate, like wholesale?
I do not know if work is required. I mean, I'm sure we could ask them if they have the resources to do that, but I would think Nick would maybe probably want to look around and see where he's going to get it the cheapest, or if they can do it even, and it's not spelled out there. And I don't know the answer to that, King, if they provided, if there would be any kind of discount. You can find out from, I'll ask Nick, have him get a hold of you.
Cool.
All right, roll call, oh, Ms. Talbot,
I have one
sorry.
other question. One of the items says that if it's outside the above-listed tasks need to be repaired or replaced, that we quoted separately and completed on an extra work ticket. Would that come before council, though, or is it just standard operating procedure or certain number of cost? Because it's not clear.
That would not come before council. There is a not-to-exceed figure in there.
There is a not-to-exceed figure, then?
Yes. Yeah, it's, let me double check. It's not to exceed 50 grand over the 3-year period. Amount not to exceed $50,000 over that
Other
3
service
years.
though?
So that, no, that would be for all services,
Oh, also, including any work tickets.
including any work tickets. That's the way I would interpret that, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestrea.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Ms. Tolbin.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. Resolution 2024-52 has been approved. Moving to the next resolution, 2024-53, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 2024-53, a resolution authorizing the mayor to extend for 2 years an agreement with Medical Mutual Life Insurance Company to provide for employee life insurance and for administrative services in connection with processing leave requests from city employees and covered by the Family Medical Leave Act. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Minor and second by Mr. Balestra. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestrea.
Yes.
Ms. Tolbin.
Yes.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Mano.
Second.
By Mr. Minor, sorry. The city is required by its collective bargaining agreements to provide life insurance coverage for its employees. Council was copied on a memo from our HR manager, Renee Augustine, providing explanation for her recommendation to support the contract renewal with Med Mutual Life Insurance Company. As stipulated in our collective bargaining agreements and the salary ordinance, the city provides life insurance in the amount of $30,000. Ms. Augustine is here this evening. If any member of council have any questions for her? Oh, good. All right. Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestrea.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Ms. Tolbin.
Yes.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. This resolution has now been adopted. This evening, we do not have any ordinances. We'll move to motions, beginning with motion A. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A motion to approve the final site plan for a new 6,757 square foot, single-story building for Dr. Cher Smiles Dental Building located at 30071 Cedar Road.
Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Mano
Second.
and second by Mr. Balestrea. All members of council should have received the Planning Commission minutes regarding the final site plan. It was a unanimous vote in favor of the final plan. Does any member of council have any questions or comments? Good. All right, roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Ms. Tolbin.
Yes.
Mr. Balestrea.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes, this motion has been approved. At this time, I will ask for a motion to enter into executive session
So moved.
for the purpose of pending and imminent litigation and the appointment of a public official.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Sabetta and second by Mr. Balestrea. Roll call on the motion for an executive session.
Ms. Tolbin.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta.
Yes.
Mr. Minor.
Yes.
Mr. Mano.
Yes.
Mr. Balestrea.
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder.
Yes. It is now 7:35, and we will move to executive session. Time is now 8:40, and I will open up the meeting. Hold on one second. We didn't do it. Is there any new business or comments or questions? Seeing none? I will now adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Move.
So moved.
Second. First by Mr. Balustrade, second by Mrs. Sabella. Roll call on the motion to adjourn. Oh, whatever. All in favor, signify.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are now adjourned.
Mike's in the car already.
All right.